like to ignite change. I like to bring people together. I just, I'm sort of that person in my, professional and personal network that loves just genuinely, curating and bringing people together. So.
I just want to get started like I always do and ask you to tell us a little bit about what the XX Project is.
The XX Project is a women's leadership group that I built a little over 2 years ago. I just felt that, I wanted to build a leadership community of women that can really rely and count on one another and collaborate and come together to really empower each other. I work in the music business. Prior to that, I was in the media business, and I felt like women don't really support one another as they should, and really come together to empower each other and get, further up in the ranks. And it's, a glass ceiling in some of these businesses. They're few and far between women who make it to the top, and I really wanted to, sort of provide a support group for women to ask the questions they really want to know and have it be raw and authentic and real, So I selfishly went to a lot of the female role models and mentors and women that I personally looked up to, and I wanted to really represent women across a diverse sort of network and disciplines, not just the music and entertainment business, which was my field, but also, media, the range of women includes Soledad O'Brien, Pat Mitchell, who started TED Women, and Paley Center. And actually, it started with Soledad. The story, I was a speaker at a conference, and a diversity conference, and I met Soledad, who was being honored there, and I was just so moved by her speech. And I went up to her afterwards. I said, listen, I've been wanting to do this and create, this intimate sort of dinner series. You would be the ideal person I'd want to start this off with. Would you be willing to take some time and do this for 50 women? And that was the idea for the XX Project. And she said yes, and we did a little get-together at Soho House. And then a month later, we did the Q&A where I interviewed her, and it was just so exciting to see the thing grow. Just an idea. It was really organic, but it goes to show when there's a need in the market, there's just, it just grows. So, we started with Soledad. I had my eye on Pat Mitchell because she was one of those women too. And then we had Eve, the rapper. Wow, all over the place. Who was about to release her own independent project. So that was sort of, she was at the forefront as a woman in music. Big time. I thought this was a really brave move. She was very bold to do it the independent route. So I wanted to highlight her. And actually, Soledad came out to interview her. Soledad also interviewed Pat Mitchell. So, there's continuity in what we're doing. So it speaks to the women, they want to meet each other too, the guest speakers that we have. And then it grew from there. Beth Comstock is another example from General Electric. She's just, somebody I really look up to professionally. What she's built at General Electric and, NBC. Someone I've always had my eye on, and we were so lucky. She said, why don't you host it here? So we like to make it personal. We like to make each experience a little different, so the women who attend can really be inspired and come to something, a little different and not the typical just networking event. It's really a community. So that was, New York, and then I moved out here 2 years ago, and I settled into Los Angeles, and then all of a sudden I found myself doing the same thing, bringing together, 20 women, which turned into 50 in a matter of a week. And I said, wait, what are we doing again? And then I said, I think I'm starting the XX out here, not even knowing that, intentionally that was happening again. And so I called an amazing woman, Olivia Tortella, who was my first boss in the music business. She ran Warner Brothers Records, and I said, I have this fabulous group of industry women that just have come together organically, but I want it to mean something more than just coming together. And she decided to speak about she started her own business, Black Box, and I was very honored to have her because that was very personal to me. That was our first music industry executive and a female who has done it and was brave enough to, start her own business now. And she's a role model for someone like myself, because that's ultimately something that I aspire to do. It's just a matter of time.
When you started off, you were looking towards mentorship and seeing Soledad as someone who you really looked up to. Was the title of entrepreneur in your mind at the time? Like, were you thinking, I want to start something,
an entrepreneur
for yourself? Yeah, or were you thinking, I want to build a group of women that come together, or were you really thinking, I want to build a business?
I think, I never sort of set out to, be an entrepreneur. I think it was just my DNA. I wanted to build a sustainable business and figure out how I can really scale and, have a lot of women who might not be in our cities participate and engage with the XX. So that's how I was thinking about it. I've always been a little risky and out of box. I'm very blessed. My mentor is my mom, and she always taught me that you set your mind to something, you can do it.
Where do you see the XX project going? Where do you want to take it now that you really have built a business and you are by nature having assumed that role of the leader?
I mean, right now we are putting together events about every other month. So I would like to scale above and beyond just the major cities. I'd like to set up chapters where women locally can run and sort of hand select the leaders in their individual communities, highlighting more local businesses that are starting. Creating this sort of workshop masterclass where maybe there's sort of principles and topics that we address where women can subscribe and participate. Maybe it's through offering classes online and hangouts where we can show video and women can engage and get access to the women's leaders that we sort of select and curate. So I'd like to do that. I also think we have a very, very powerful and special now network of XX speakers, and I'd like to really figure out how to create this forum, bringing them all together, because they've all, given their time separately, individually, but really I think if we brought, unite the forces. I mean, we must have about 10 women now, at least, if not more. So I'd love to see the magic of what it would be bringing them together, sort of like a summit, a gala. I'd like to really honor and recognize their work, because all those women are very philanthropic. So I'd love to put together something where we could really help, make a difference in their individual, philanthropic passions. Because we have a senior leadership group of young executives who are, consistently coming and attending. And I think if all of us just did one thing, it's that simple, then we would, be that much closer to fulfilling our dreams and, feel good and inspired.
Part of actually being able to grow it is going out there and getting a team and getting the funding to be able to make these things happen. So have you started that process and figuring out who are these partners going to be that help you take the XX project to the next level? And maybe you can talk about, what does that even look like for those of us who've never gone through that?
Yeah. Well, I sort of have established a women sort of business council almost to advise me how to really take this to the next level. And I've researched independently a lot of different companies that do it. I think L'Oreal has a fabulous Women of Worth program, and to Golden Seeds, which help fund and seed women startups. To then Cartier has a foundation, Gucci has a foundation. Look at Tory Burch, what she's created, and Diane von Klitzenberg, who are very active in this space too. So I think it's a matter of just really seeing who is in line with what you're trying to build, and people ultimately invest in the entrepreneur and the vision behind the business. So I think it's really important to identify what your strengths are, what you're trying to achieve, and find people that see the value and see how that really is in line with their objectives, and come together and really amplify it, because that's when it gets really exciting.
For the young women who are sitting in the camp that you were in a couple of years ago, who have an idea that they want to get started, what advice would you offer to them?
I mean, research.
Research.
We're so fortunate nowadays. Same thing with my charity Music Unites. I remember just staying up all night one night looking up how you do a 501c3 and put that together. I think we're like very fortunate in this day and age with technology. Everything is at our fingertips. So there's no information you can't get access to. So I think just really researching that topic, becoming an expert, reading the different sites and gathering that information from the best websites that relate to that topic. Not being afraid to reach out to people you really look up to. You have to really do your due diligence and homework. Really specify why and how you could help that individual and take the time to. I think that's something that I really learned early on, and I was fortunate to have internships that really helped give me the expertise and exposure to that industry, which I think was invaluable. I would recommend working in that industry that you're passionate about and finding mentors and sort of seeing the people that you're attracted to and really reading about their story and how they got to where they are, and just learning, being open and learning, and you don't know why or how things come about, but and you have to really listen, because I just naturally started doing this because it was sort of something that I enjoyed doing, and that means it's real, so it's going to work. So you recognize that, and as the XX has grown and above and beyond sort of my network of people, like the word has spread, that's what's exciting and means we're onto something. So I would just say not to be fearful, to really live your truth, to be ambitious. I think the bigger dreamer you are, the better. Yeah.
We've heard a lot about the XX Project and your vision for it. So I want to dig in just a little bit more to get some more information about you. And what I want to have you do is pull some questions out of this jam jar here. They're going to be completely unrelated to the XX Project or what you do. It's all about just figuring out some fun facts. So dig on in.
My go-to manicure color. I haven't had time recently to do it, so this has been on my mind.
The life of building a business.
Yes, the life of building a business. You don't want to see my toes. My go-to manicure color, it would be gray.
Gray? Okay, so you're like a neutral...
The gray, yeah.
Okay. No, like funky designs where like every nail has like a character on it.
No, I keep it simple. If anything, I would go for a little funky purple, because that's my go-to, my favorite color.
Oh, purple is? Okay.
Yeah, but gray is sort of, it matches everything, and when you don't get to do your nails that often, you gotta keep it simple. Have you ever been starstruck? I would be not starstruck, but I would be a little, sort of have butterflies in my stomach if I pitched Jay-Z.
I was really wondering, like, who was going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Jay-Z. Okay. Why? Why Jay-Z? Are you like a big fan of his? Of like his music or just his words?
Overall,
I just think Jay-Z,
and I just think he's a great businessman, and has built so many and has invested in a lot of different businesses that I think it would be really interesting to like do a formal pitch for him.
Oh yeah,
like a business pitch.
He knows
not just meeting him like that, but like just a proper like business conversation. I think that would be super exciting, and I probably would have a few butterflies.
Like on your A game,
I'd be on my A game. I'd come up with everything. I'd have like a stack ready to go, but he probably would just not even go through it and just
he'd be very cool.
Yeah, he'd be very cool. But I think I'd love to watch him even in a business meeting. That would be super exciting.
Yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up? I wanted to be a few things. I started off wanting to be a pilot.
Okay.
Loved traveling, and my parents would always put me on a plane, and I would travel to Europe. So I just loved flying. I always, found it very peaceful, and it was like where my best creative ideas would come from when I was traveling. So I still really, it's a joy to actually go.
Right.
And I love learning about culture, and so that's fun for me. So I wanted to be a pilot. Then I played piano since the age of 5, and I wanted to be a concert pianist.
Yeah.
So that's what I went to college to.
That's incredible. You still play?
Not as much, but yeah, it's time for me to get back playing the keys. So yeah, I went to then being a concert pianist, to then being a journalist, and then serving artists.
We just keep going. Keep the journey going. Keep the journey going. Well, that's been incredible to get to hear about your journey and everywhere you've been and everywhere that you're going. So thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing. Can't wait to see you keep following.
To me, success is not just a matter of money and having this amazing career. Like, that's not success for me. Success means being happy and fulfilled in the work that I'm doing and have a joyous and pleasurable life altogether, which includes a lot more than just work.